Okay.
Okay. So yeah, I think my like the Cliff Notes version of my story is important to know why they're important. So my husband actually passed away from cancer about 16 months ago, which was about 9 months after I became a coach. So I was pretty gung ho when I started. I got to Emerald right before, after my wedding. I don't remember. Then he got sick. He passed away. And my coach, Larissa, right after he passed away, is about 3 months after, she took me as her guest on the Success Club trip to Mexico. And during like the grieving time, I kind of lost every bit of my business. Like I lost all my coaches. I just had to start over from scratch. So when I was in Mexico and I met all of these teammates, and I wish I knew how to really put it into words why these events are such a big deal, but there's just such a level of community and support, and how everybody just wants you to do well at these events, and you are just surrounded by it, just to where I felt so supported, and everybody was just rooting me on, that in Mexico, by the end of the like 4-day trip, I had gotten my Emerald status back. Did it from hotel rooms and pools with margaritas, but I did it and I got it back, and then got home and was motivated again, but grief's tricky. So I was present some months and some months I was not. My coaches were doing amazingly well, sometimes with me, sometimes without me. And then right before this Success Club trip, which I was invited, didn't have to be brought as a guest. Hey, I was there, and I really wish Larissa was on this call for this because she doesn't know this yet, but I'm going to just say it. I was there again. My Emerald's there. I still had it. So I was just Emerald before the Success Club trip. The same feeling of love, support, everybody reminding you why you're here. And I could probably talk for over an hour about everything that happened on this particular Success Club trip, but that's a whole nother day. But as of this Thursday, I will be Diamond. I locked that in today. So it's just so...
Congratulations!
Yeah, Larissa does not know yet. But, I locked that in about an hour ago. It went through. I keep checking my sponsorship drill down to make sure it's still there and making sure I'm not missing anything, but I'm not. It's there. So it's just these trips, being around these women making fun of you for your dinner choices and your drinks. And look at Kim laughing because she knows I ordered a lot of creme brulee on this trip. But it's just, you want to be there because, yeah, we can support each other like via these calls, and we can support each other via Messenger or even just talking to each other. But truly, Summit and these Success Club trips, being around your teammates, because everybody just wants you to succeed, it just relights fire and reminds you, like, it's so cheesy, we all hear it, but it reminds you of your whys, like why you're here, because these opportunities wouldn't be gifted to us without this business, and it makes you want to succeed, so they keep being offered.
And so let me ask you, like, knowing what you know, the power of live events for you, what will you do in the interim to continue to carry that momentum until the next live events? Because they're all are so powerful, powerful. But that's the first question. The second question, I was trying to think of it, it just came to me. It went away again. Oh, is it that, do you feel like, when I remember my first event, it was Summit, and I had this preconceived notion that everybody was going to be beach body, right? Like everyone was going to have a beach body, and I was going to have to live up to these standards, and that was like the furthest from the truth. Like I came in and felt a part of something and realized like everyone had a part here, even though we were so different. It was like this just melting pot of so many different people from so many different walks of life with so many different stories that looked different from one another, but all a family. And I don't know, did you feel that way too?
I do. I don't feel like, because you and I talked about this a little bit, like on the boat, I don't feel like any woman you meet has the exact same story as you. You're going to meet somebody with a similar version, but it's rare. Like in this entire of, 400 plus thousand coaches, what Dara and I talked about is I have only met and found one other widow who is I learned a very successful coach. So you're not going to find people with your story. You're going to find people who will help highlight your story, if that, I guess, makes sense, because we all want each other to succeed with it. Like, I don't have a history of any type of drug addiction, so I can't relate to that, but I want that person to succeed. I don't have a history of obesity, but I can relate and I want them to succeed. So I think when you're surrounded by so many different stories and you get to hear it like one-on-one in person, not just read it or hear anybody talk about it on a Monday morning wake-up call. When you're there and you see it and you hear all these stories, I think it's very powerful, and it's very it's very powerful. I don't have deeper words than that. It makes you just remind yourself what this business can do for other people and what our part in that is. And
that live presence, you realize, like, we all wake up the same. We wake up cranky. We space dive in a creme brulee every night. We drink a little too many cocktails. We didn't eat enough veggies. We have the same fears, the same insecurities, the same hesitations, right? Like, it just kind of puts us on this, like, people on a pedestal that you had on a pedestal. At one point, you realize, she's not different than me, really. Yeah, we have different stories, but we're all kind of the same in so many ways. And I don't know. I just think there's so much power in that. But anyway, congratulations on Diamond Bree. Woo woo! That is amazing. Anything else that you want to say?
I don't think so. I'm like sitting here with my hand shaking because I'm not prepared to talk at all.
This is good for you. Like, you're going to be in the hot seat next time. Yeah, so what did the community, the friendships? Yes. So speaking of Diamond, this is the Emerald Call, and I wanted to share with you an amazing opportunity that we have as a team. We have been invited to be a part of a Diamond Dash with coaches. I don't have a graphic made, but I'll tell you who is going to be on the panel of speakers and trainers. Top coach, pregnant with her second baby currently, superstar diamond coach, did she have $1 million? I don't know, Holly Collier. A lot of you know and follow her. She's one of the panelists, one of the coaches training. Her upline, her success partner, Ashley Laughlin, but her upline, Megan Robeson, I ran into at the Success Club trip. She will also be a part of it. We were in the big last Dash Diamond with her. She's really amazing. Chrissy Kronzer, we've done a few Diamond Dashes with her, also a superstar, also multi-million-dollar earner. Been in 8 years just like me. So you have some that are like 3 years in, some 5, some 8 years in. Who else is on the panel? Who else? We have the same here. Just so you guys know, Jessica, she used to be Jessica Bazzola, went through some actually crazy stuff in her life, is Jessica Jazuris now. She's on the National Wake Up Call tomorrow presenting, and she's going to be talking about live events, why they're so important. She's on the Diamond Dash panel. Who else? Courtney Denker, I don't know her. Lindsay Stave, who I met at Superstar Weekend. So essentially, I'm telling you these people, you may or may not know them, but these are coaches that have achieved pretty much the highest ranks in the business that are coming together to bring you fire training. So some of the lineup of the training is going to be, let me pull it up here. Just a minute. Sorry, I'm not super duper prepared for this, but let me just pull it up right here. Here we go. So here are the topics that you can expect, and then I'll go over the qualifications. So it starts April 4th, which is this Thursday. So if you have coaches on your team that haven't quite hit Emerald but are pushing for Emerald, as long as they lock in Emerald by Thursday, that's where we're starting on Thursday, they're welcome to join. So if you have coaches that are on the fence, let them know that there's this time to push. They have 4 days to lock in Emerald so they can become a part of this. So that's the official start date is the 4th. And these are the topics that we're talking about, is planning your content on social media. So important to know what your message is. Instead of posting randomly, post it with intention. And we're going to give you how to plan your content so that it really speaks to who you are. It speaks to who you want to attract, and that you have a plan going into it versus just throwing something up. So in today's day and age, super, super important to be intentional with your message, with who you want to reach, with what you want to say. Hi. Branding, talking about branding yourself, who it is that you are, who it is that you want to attract, right? You're not throwing your message out to everyone. You want to be very specific in who you want on your team and in your challenge groups, right? Yes, we help everyone, but ultimately you get to choose who you want to work with in this business. And I mean, I think it's really important to know at the core of like who you are and what you're about. Like Bree said, I mean, there's people out there that she can help that don't have the same story, but there's people out there that have walked a similar path that she's going to really touch with her message, right? So then social media, we're going to be telling you, how to use that as attraction marketing, how to use social media to your advantage. Then we're going to be talking about inviting to your challenge groups, and more specifically the coaching opportunity. Ryan, we're going to be talking about recruiting and inviting. So exactly how to expand your network, how to find your tribe, how to run sneak peeks, how to run webinars, that kind of thing. We're going to even talk about sneak peeks on Instagram. So that's a new thing that we're doing. Recruiting and inviting, how to help your coaches move from inactive to active, how to talk about the discount coaching membership, how to talk about the business with more confidence. So that's pretty much the lineup. And so this is pretty much how it's going to work. I will post the requirements for everybody in the actual group, but I wanted to run it by you. It's a $25 pot buy-in. So when you'll put $25 into the pot, and you'll have 4 weeks. The date that you need to wake up as a diamond coach is on 5/1. So on 5/2 actually. So on May 2nd, you will need to wake up as a diamond coach. So lock it in on 5/1 at 11:59. We go by Eastern Standard Time. So remember we always go by Eastern Standard Time for rank. So lock in your 6 coaches and your 2 emeralds by 5/1, and then you will take a piece of the pot. So that's pretty much how the groups work. That's kind of the logistics of the group. That's when it starts. That's how long it runs. We're going to give you all the tools to help you meet those qualifications, right? We're going to give you how to use your social media, how to talk to people, how to follow up with people, how to run sneak peeks, and then so that you can actually lock that in. So that's basically a coach a week. It's a coach a week and an emerald every 2 weeks if you break it out like that. The last pot that we just did a smaller team one, but the larger one that we did, I think it was like $600 each for each person that took a piece of that, like hit diamond. So think about that in regards to your business, and not only the cash pot that you would be qualified for. Think about the impact. Think about the momentum that's creating in your business. Like I talk about seasons of hustle. This would be one of those times, right? This is one of those times where you go all in and see what you're capable of doing with this whole team alongside you, with all of these leaders that you normally don't get to hear from, right? Like how many times do you guys hear me? You guys hear me every day, and probably a lot of times. I know for me, it was hearing somebody else say what I already had heard from my upline or what I heard from another mentor, but it was the way someone else said it. It was the way that they delivered it that really just clicked, right? And I think it's so important for us to cross-train across teams so that you have an opportunity to hear someone else's story that you might connect with, right? Like Bree and I, we connect, but maybe there's someone on the panel that she heard from that really just strikes a chord with her, right? Really just says, lights her up. And that's why I think it's so powerful that you get to hear from all of these other leaders that you normally would never hear from, right? We hear from leaders on the National Wake Up Call for 20 minutes in a very guided call. But this is where you get to actually ask questions. You get to be immersed in the environment. You get to work really closely with these other leaders of these other teams. And again, like Bree talked about power of live events, power of these events, super powerful. If Larissa, did Larissa hop on? Larissa did qualify for one of the reason she got to Diamond, I don't know how long ago it was, maybe 2 years ago, was the result of one of these, and really just put so much belief and confidence into her, right? Because our business, your success really is kind of tied to the way that you rank up. It's tied to the number of people that you help, that's tied to the number of leaders that you advance and develop, and knowing that you've been a part of that it just gives you this surge of energy, this boost of confidence, and knowing that you've done it reminds you that you can do it again, right? Because this business is like going emerald and then going emerald again and again and again to diamond, then it's again and again to star diamond, right? And then you just duplicate that process. So if you've done it once, you know that you can do it again. And so like, why not go all in for the next 4 weeks and push and see, what if you fall short? You're going to fall short a lot higher than had you not tried, right? So this is not me pushing this on you. This is me pouring belief into you and saying you absolutely can do this. If it's not for you, no hard feelings. Like, you still get to be a part of these Emerald calls and all of the team trainings. But what a great opportunity for you to learn from other leaders, to push together, to come together as a family, as a unit, and really help a lot of people and change a lot of lives, including your own. And put some money in your pocket. Why not? So I just wanted to run through that and just tell you what the details of that are. So just unmute yourself. Does anyone have any questions? Right? Oh, you guys are so quiet tonight. Who's thinking they want to go in on this? Mostly everybody, huh? Okay. Has anyone been a part of one before? Becca, tell me your experience. I'm just calling on people.
So my experience is very similar to what you just described. And so it pushed me to the point that I didn't hit it that week. Like when the cash bot ended, I hit it the next week, right? And so even though I didn't necessarily get to be a part of that, big pot, I still met the goal the following week, and then also had my biggest paycheck to date that following week. So hearing from, like Dara said, from the top leaders, like last time we heard from Holly Hillier, Christy Kronzer, and a few other really big names that we don't get the opportunity to hear from. And these groups, like for myself, I know that I push harder when I'm a part of these groups, regardless of what the outcome is. Like Dara just said, you're going to fall a whole heck of a lot higher than just trying to forego it alone, right? Than being pushed by us here in this community and those who are also going to be pouring belief into us and all of the knowledge and information that they have into us, which is just incredible. Like, where else do you get training like that, from the top in the business? You don't. It doesn't happen in other businesses. So, I say go for it. It changed my business last year and continues to change my business. So,
I mean, you weren't really mad about hitting the goal the next week, were you?
No, not at all.
I mean, minus a little cat, but I agree. I mean, I think, I'll be the first to admit there's many times I've missed goals. I mean, absolutely. I've been a part of these diamond dashes where I didn't meet it, but it definitely gave me so much had I not been a part of it, right? I walked away with so much more knowledge, being connected to other people I never, ever, ever would have been connected to, right? So we work in our little bubble, right, on social every day, but this is a chance where you get to be alongside other coaches pushing for the exact same thing, rallying together, coming together, sharing what's working, asking questions, cheering each other on like crazy, getting to hear from other top leaders. I mean, this is just a really great opportunity that doesn't always come along. So again, if it's not for you, that's totally fine. But I definitely think, why not? Why not you? Why not give
I'll say it compounds, like it creates an avalanche, right? So anything that then happens in 4 weeks or 6 weeks, anything that happens there, you guys know how hustle works. Like, you're going to then continue to feel it into summer, which sometimes can be a difficult season in this business sometimes. And so you will feel the ripple effects of that then, you know, for X amount of weeks after, you know? So, yeah, it's nothing but good to be a part of the push groups.
I love. Courtney, you're a part of one. You just ended one. I heard you're actually up for the pot. Unmute yourself, love.
There we go. Sorry about that.
No, that's okay.
Yeah, I just did our team one, the Boss Babe and Bro Push, I think what it was called, for 3 weeks. And the goal there was to sign 4 coaches and get 1 to Emerald. And I didn't make the goal either yet, but it definitely gave me a lot of momentum. Like, I invited like crazy the last 3 weeks. And it pushed me out of my comfort zone to start having that conversation about the coaching, because that was one thing that Teresa had mentioned, was it's really easy to invite to challenges day in and day out, but it's definitely puts you a little bit, or me anyways, out of my comfort zone to invite to coaching. So, and I'm still a little hesitant to do it, but I'm better than what I was 3 weeks ago. And yeah, I'm close. I'm still pushing for it, because the pot is still up for grabs. So I'm still pushing, and hopefully we'll get a part of it.
Yes, yes. I was cheering for you when I talked to Ashley today. Ashdara, I was like, I hope she gets it. Anything I can do to help her, let me know. I'm cheering for her. I know she's got this. So yeah, let me know if there's anything. What do you need, an Emerald now?
Yeah, so I need 2 coaches, and so I got 2 for me, and I'm going to get the other 2 signed under my husband, so he becomes the Emerald.
Perfect. Awesome.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Does anyone have any questions or final thoughts? Again, I will post all of the details, but I thought, you know what a perfect opportunity to just jump on here and share really quickly. It starts on Thursday. You have an entire month, which is basically about a coach a week, a coach and a half a week, if that's what you want to say, and an Emerald, and 2 Emeralds. So,
Sarah?
Yes.
Those are I think I did one of these when I very first started, actually about this time 2 years ago. So they're all recorded. So if I miss one day because of work, I can catch up in the evening.
So it's addition of 3 new coaches and 2 Emeralds. That is the qualification. Sorry, I had to read this again. So dash to diamond for the diamond bet is that you need to sign 3 coaches. So I'm sorry, that's 3 new coaches, 2 new Emeralds. Okay, so that's not even a coach a week. Okay, so Ryan, did you say you're going to be working and you're trying to catch, are you asking if you can catch the info after work? Was that Ryan that asked? Who asked that?
It was Angela, actually.
Angela.
But yeah, will I be able to access it later if I miss?
Yes.
Okay,
so we will post the times that we're going to go live and do the trainings, but the live will stay in the group so that you can take things at your pace. I just recommend we're going to Zoom tomorrow. The ladies, after Jessica gets off the national wake-up call, we're going to have a Zoom and really iron out the details. We're all in the cruise and we didn't have a chance to iron them out. But anyway, as soon as I get the official details of when we're going live and who's, yes. When we're going live, then we'll post that information to you. And I'm not sure, I don't think it's going to be every day. So that allows you some time to watch the video and then take action. So watch the training, take action. We don't want to be so heavy training that you don't have time to take action. I know that's ran the last one, and I think that seemed to work really well.
Yes, thank you.
Yes. Okay, jumping off, Lindsay. Okay, bye. Good night. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Okay, any other thoughts or questions? Brooke, you're in, Mama? How about your coach? Is she in, Alicia? Maybe?
I hadn't talked to her. I tagged her in that post, but haven't heard yet.
Okay. Michelle McMurtry, you in? All right, Ryan, you're in. Bree, Cassie, are you in?
I don't know. I literally just got off of the other one, the Boss Babe Boot Camp. So it's kind of a rough time, but I'm still like moving with momentum for that.
Yeah.
So I'll know by Thursday.
Okay, sounds good. Amy, you're in. Courtney, are you going to repeat, or what are you thinking?
I'm not sure. I'm gonna think about it. But I wanted to clarify because I got confused there for a second. So for this upcoming challenge, we have to sign 3 new coaches and 2 emeralds, or we just have to get 2 diamond?
Yeah. So you must, to get the pot, it is saying qualifications to split it is that you must wake up a diamond. You must advance at least sign 3 new coaches and advance 2 new emeralds. So you must create 2 new emeralds and sign 3 new coaches plus be diamonds. So obviously you have other coaches in your organization, but those are the minimum requirements. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna think on that because that seems a little trickier than because I feel like I'm close to getting 1 emerald, but then to have to get.
Well, right. So it starts Thursday, and if you're already planning on getting that emerald this week, that would count as 1, right?
Yeah. And if there's no penalty for not reaching the goal by the end of the challenge. It just is the push to get to that point.
Sure. Right.
I mean,
exactly.
It still keeps us the momentum going and building.
Yes.
Yeah, Courtney, it's a great push with people that aren't in Heart Hustle Muscle. I said it wrong. I'm sorry. I'm tired, but to people, you'll meet people, top leaders, like Dara was saying, that aren't in the group that we're in. They come from all over. They're great. I did it one time, and it was super helpful.
Okay.
It really is a huge push. It's like that Boss Babe one we just did on steroids, pretty much.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
You and I can chat, Courtney. I'll message you after this and we'll chat, okay?
Okay.
Lori locked in diamond today. Becca. Whoop, whoop. Lori and Bree. Look at you guys. All right, awesome. And she can join the diamond side bet because she'll be a diamond. Awesome. The last side bet that we had, it was 900 each. It's insane. All right. I have the diamond call. Any questions, just shoot me a message. I believe in you all. I'm so excited for what's to come, whether you're a part of that push or not. I believe in you. I know you are capable of amazing things. Let your light shine out into this world. Help some people. You guys, tomorrow is Monday and a new month. Monday and April 1st. So time to set things in motion and get things rocking and rolling. Okay? Love you guys. Good night. Yes.
You have another one, you said?
I'm gonna